Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ron Sexton Art, and I am Ron Sexton. Today, we're going to do a hide and reveal, something that I learned from Jessica Winter-Strom. Let's get right to it. Today's colors are going to be Liquitex Unbleached Titanium. Then we have the Arteza Crimson Red, Golden Pyrrole Orange, really cool color. Um, yeah, Then we're going to have the Liquitex Prussian Blue Hue. A couple of Tri-Art colors. We're going to do Tri-Art Golden Yellow and Tri-Art Nickel Azul Yellow. Then we have the Pebeo Iridescent Gold. Also have Golden Cadmium Red. And then we have the Atelier Phthalo Blue, which is a really cool color. I'm then hiding all of these colors with the Amsterdam Oxide Black, which will cover everything. So here we go. Putting down Glidden PPG Pro. Um, I'm recording this after the fact, so I can tell you I put down too much. Uh, you'll see at the end. But I got carried away. I wasted a whole pile of paint and everything pretty much slid off of the canvas because there was way, way too much pillow paint. But, you know, we live, we learn. Okay, so the colors I'm using, I want to show you the consistency. It's a slight trace, maybe what, a second. So when I first started mixing paints, I really was all about exact measurements. I used a gram scale and I had it down exact. Everybody was saying, oh, do it by feel, do it by eye, and I just couldn't get it. But over time, you do. Now I mix all my paints by feel and by looking at them, but mostly by feel. Interesting how your hand knows exactly what the right consistency is. Okay, so using the spreader, the first color going down is the Liquitex Unbleached Titanium. Putting it out in a rectangle. I want it to be a little bit bigger of a rectangle so that it is more centered. So adding a little bit more to the spreader, and there we go. Then, not to waste any paint, I take the container and scrape it off the spreader and put it back into the container. Second color is the Tri-Art Nickel Azul Yellow. Again, a little bit short, so have to go for a second application. It's a great, great color. All right, third color, Pebeo Iridescent Gold. This one just went down in one swoop. Ideally, that would be the way they all go down, but um, not to be. Next color is the Tri-Art Golden Yellow. Love, love, love this color. It's as close to the Azo Gold. Um, and apparently, I'm told that Tri-Art has the same pigments in their version. Yeah. Still really, really nice, deep, rich color. Next color is going to be Liquitex, the Prussian Blue Hue. Again, a little short, so we're going to put in a second application. Just going to do it with a stick. Only have to fill in the corners. Then I came in with stripes of the golden cadmium red. Put a couple separate stripes in. Remember, this is all going to get covered by the black, and then it's just a matter of swiping deep into the layers and getting all of these colors to reveal themselves. Hence the hide and reveal. Now the orange, stripes of the golden pyrrole orange. Three stripes of the blue, four stripes of the orange. Everything is covered. And now we're going to come in with the Amsterdam Oxide Black. But before that, I'm going to mark the edges of the canvas to indicate where the colors are, because once I put the black on top of this, it's going to be hidden. And I do want to know where my area is to swipe into. So here we go with the Amsterdam Oxide Black cover. It's going to cover everything. It's going to take a few applications to get it fully covered. Not a problem to miss a little area here or there. You can always go in and fill it in, either with another spreader application or come in with a spoon or stick and fill in. I want this black area to be more rectangular in whole. So I'm going to do a fill in, then square it off a little bit. Try and get all of the colors underneath, including anything that's white covered so it doesn't pop through. All of the paint colors are mixed with my pouring medium, which is Infinity 2 parts and 1 part of the super thick polyurethane. Taking a torch to get rid of the bubbles on the black. For some reason, the black oxide is always just covered in bubbles. But on the other hand, a good thing, because you'll see later on that all of these little dots of color appear. Um, put some cell activator on my palette knife and added some colors, and I just randomly pick colors. I had a little bit too much paint on the palette knife, so gave it a kick to spill some off, which I don't mind if it spills onto the black. Um, Coming in again, trying to do little digs into the black to try and get some of those colors underneath to reveal themselves. I found that it works best when doing a consistent swipe and putting a turn on the swipe, which you'll see coming up next. And take a mixture of the white cell activator, the gold cell activator, the black cell activator, sometimes using two different cell activators on top of each other, then putting some colors on top of that, putting a little pressure, not too much pressure, don't want to go down to the pillow, but there are many layers of color underneath that black, so there's some depth to get through. Trying to keep it tight. Uh, Definitely want to keep it centered because when stretching this or tilting it or spinning it, all of this is just going to grow massively, and don't want it ending up on the table. I use different cell activators to get a different color and the reaction that each of them has to the paints that I'm putting on the palette knife. Composition wise, I'm really very fluid, no pun intended. Um, I I just go for it. And as I'm working, I just keep adding and selecting the cell activator color and selecting the paint color, knowing that at the very end, these are going to get tilted, they're going to get spun out, things are going to change. Um, this really is different than the bloom. It's such an unknown factor as to what will end up happening. So at this point, I'm adding a little bit of white cell activator, and I'm going to go in and do a hard blow. Trying to blow out to the side. Um, these can add a lot of character to the painting. Got to be as careful as possible not to blow too deep into the paint, otherwise you'll end up with a pile of pillow paint coming to the surface. In the case of this one, the white is the cell activator. I did another, put a little bit of gold down. I wish on this one I would have gone in the other direction because there was a group of cells that were there that were really cool, and I did a hard blow over them. When doing these hard blows, it creates these huge bubbles under the paint. I usually use my tweezers to break those bubbles open, which create these cool round cells that are peacock because they have a whole bunch of different colors, all the colors from down below. Um, in the case of what I'm doing here is I'm using a huge thumbtack because I couldn't find my tweezers. And there's something very satisfying about popping those bubbles. I get great enjoyment out of popping them. So far, I'm happy with what I'm seeing. Oh no, what just happened? I must have picked up a piece of dry paint that got stuck to my hand, and as I went into the painting, it flew off and into the painting. All right, I was able to lift it out. No obvious damage. Very fortunate, very lucky. Checking it out and making sure that it should still be okay. Fortunately, it wasn't a bigger piece of foreign matter that landed right in the middle of the painting. Um, yeah, popping more bubbles. As said, I find popping these bubbles very satisfying. I don't know why, but I find it very satisfying. Sort of like peeling dry paint. Okay, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. Just make sure it's moving. Get it to the center of the canvas. Composition wise, I like the way this looks. I like the way it looks right now. Um, if I could stretch it out a little bit, give it a give it a preliminary spin to give it a little bit of a stretch. Another spin, watching it grow. Everything is moving. The air bubbles that were in the black paint have started to pop, and as a result, the colors underneath the black are popping through, which is really cool. There is a lot of paint still on this. Stretching it out a little bit more. Gonna give it another spin. A little bit harder this time. Okay, interesting. Still a lot of movement. Still more paint that needs to be spun off. But so far, I'm really happy with this. As you can see, the majority of the black paint is going off to one side, even though the entire canvas is sitting on the spinner dead center. Taking a look at the overall composition, moving it around from position to position to see if there's something that jumps out. Very alien-like. Give it a tilt to try and center it back, move some of the paint off of the bottom. The air bubbles that were all over the black that popped, revealing the various colors that were underneath. Pretty cool. Gonna scrape some of the paint off the sides, clean it up a little bit. Remember at the beginning I said I put down a little too much pillow paint, which caused everything just to move big. One more good spin. Want to see if any more paint comes off. Still paint coming off. Give it another tilt to see if there's any movement. Just slight movement. So there's still a little bit more paint that needs to be taken off of this. Clean up the edges again. There is a lot going on this painting. Testing the center of it to see if the thickness of the paint. It needs one more really good final spin. Here we go. Okay. Well, I don't know what you'll see, but I see a head of a bird looking over its shoulder towards its back and its wings. Um, After a while and looking at it again and again, I just thought, yeah, you know what? I think this is pretty cool, and I'm really happy with it. So there it is. A little bit of a close up, and the glare is a little bit bad, but here it is. Thanks for watching.